Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time set. This is set number 71797. It has 1,739 pieces, and I paid $160 for this set. Now, this is another one of the Lego Ninjago Dragon Rising sets from the new season of Ninjago that officially comes out on June 1st, 2023. I was able to get some of these sets early, and I've already done videos about several of them, but in this video, I'm going to be opening up this Destiny's Bounty, the newest version of Destiny's Bounty. I'm going to be putting it together, and then I'm going to be reviewing it. So while I build this set, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to share my thoughts on it. So until then, enjoy! Okay, so this is something new that I've been trying over on the Sobrix Patreon, which is to record some audio commentary over the build video. This video for the Destiny's Bounty is one of my longer videos because this is one of the bigger sets that I've ever featured on this channel. So the build actually takes up more than the builds normally do as a portion of my videos, even when they're sped up. So I'm going to kind of talk through what I'm doing and different feelings I have on this set over the build before I get to my final review. So the first two bags of this set are building this elemental dragon. I really liked how this came together. There's a printed dragon headpiece that goes onto a brick built head, which is really good. There's a lot of articulation. It feels very stable, and I really enjoyed it. Next, we are going on to the front end of the hull of the ship. This is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, and it uses some really cool techniques and some pretty great pieces to achieve angles that and curves that might not be super common in a brick-built system. So we can see some of that happening now. Onto the next bag, there is already, as you can see, kind of a nice sort of tapered angle or almost a triangular way that the front of the hull works, and the more it gets built up, the more finalized it looks, the better it looks. So I really appreciated that as far as the build goes. We are currently building sort of the middle section of the ship, which has this really interesting kind of thin but very sturdy design. It's like the front end of the hull of the ship is like flared out, and then it goes very narrow, and then towards the rear of the vessel it curves out again. And so we were building some of that with some Technic bricks and some Technic beams there, and now we move on to the back portion of the ship. We can also see the beginning of the mast in there with the Technic beams, and some great sort of walls building up that not only add structure to the ship, but also a lot of the internal details. So for this bag of pieces, we have another minifigure, and we add some internal details down here, which are pretty cool. We add some brick-built beds, some printed like food or sushi tiles, a kind of video games thing with these awesome molded pieces, and a sort of shrine type thing, and a weapon rack as well. Now we build out the kind of curvature of the hull using these red pieces, and this is really well done. Really fun to put together, and looks really great at the end. Finishing up some other details towards the back here and adding these wonderful curves using some studs on these side techniques, adding some minifigure phones for detail in there. Looks really great where the ship kind of narrows down at the middle towards the base of the mast. We put some plates on for the deck of the ship here, and now add some details for the helm with a compass print, a brick-built telescope, and the helm. We add a little go table and tea area with some floral elements up front. And now we build up the kind of front outside of the hull there. Again, using some of those red sloped pieces and curves, a lot of like sub-assemblies and different things that all come together very, very nicely to accentuate the sort of shape and flow of the ship here. I really, really liked putting this all together. And we can see sort of the final form starting to take shape. And we're going to add some more final details after this. I love all the gold elements and the gold accents that are present throughout the ship. It really accents the red very, very nicely. And now we are working on the next level of the deck here, where there'll be some other details, a little more color added, and some great stuff. And this kind of seamlessly fits in there. It's almost modular in that it studs down just on a couple studs. I think 6 studs total for that full panel there. So it's very easy to remove and to put on, and it feels sort of seamless in how it attaches to the rest of the ship, which I really, really enjoyed. And I will speak more about in my official final review here. Getting into the last couple bags of this set, we build out the rest of this kind of environment on the deck, including another sticker and some other accessories and places for minifigures, some kind of porthole looking window areas, and some nice katanas for detail. This gets built up really, really nicely, and then also has some great elements that help the roof of that area nest very, very nicely on top. Now we are building kind of the engines, which were super cool. The engines can rotate. They have great use of translucent parts. They have a really nice shape, really nice curves. And the gold, red, and the translucent light blue all look really terrific together. So I was very, very impressed with these engine builds. Not only is the shape impressive, and the fact that they can rotate and be articulated is impressive. I liked how kind of elegant the build was in putting those together. So I really appreciated that as well. We do the same for the other side of the engine here for this sort of thruster area. So it's a very similar build, but I enjoyed it so much that it was no problem, and it really finishes off nicely when it's all said and done. So I really appreciated how that looked. Next, we work on the roof and kind of the last sort of modular section for the back of the ship here, which includes some other details for baby Riyu in there, including some kind of molded food pieces, and then a really kind of neat design for a roof that has openings for access, but also feels like detailed enough, even though it's just all kind of black pieces. So I really liked how this roof came together. It was a shape and a design and a technique that I hadn't seen in many other kind of slanted roofs like this, but it worked out really, really well in my opinion. And that fits on there in kind of that modular way. And the last bag, or getting near the end, we build up the rest of the hull and the sort of frame for the sails. This was really interesting as well. I loved the element that the sails are made out of. It's sort of this, not like a foil thing, but kind of a plastic film that feels pretty thick and pretty sturdy, with good printing details and everything. And I'm interested to see how it holds up long term, but I really liked how these sails come together and the mechanism for operating them. So that is all of this build, and I will turn it back over to me to review this set in depth. Enjoy! Okay, so that is this Lego Ninjago Dragon Rising Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time set. This is awesome. It is huge, and it's going to be difficult for me to talk about given my current setup, but I'm going to do the best I can and look out for improvements to that in the future. I know I've been saying that for a long time, but I'm figuring stuff out on my end. I'm trying some new stuff over on Patreon, and once I nail down the best way to move forward with larger sets, I will, very soon after start using that and employing that on the YouTube channel. So my overall impression of this is that this is awesome. It was super fun to build. It looks fantastic. It is big, but not like too big. It feels like a good display model. I actually wanted to compare it to the Viking ship 3-in-1 just as far as like length goes, because I feel like they're not too dissimilar, but I will do that on my own time here. So this is great. It has a ton of pieces. 1,739 pieces, and it's $160. You get 6 minifigures. You get kind of a side build, a dragon build alongside of the ship, the Destiny's Bounty, and you get some really great specialized pieces, and this thing I feel like will display super nice. Now, I don't have any of the previous Destiny's Bounty sets. I may look into them. I was not buying Ninjago sets until somewhat recently, towards the tail end of the Crystallized series. I started getting into them, and now with this new wave, I have gotten several of the new sets. And so I never got the older Destiny's Bounty, but if this is anything to go by, I'm sure they're great, because this one's really, really interesting. I think the overall shape is really inspired and unique, and also really well achieved. There are some angles and some curves and some lines that I don't think would work in a Lego set, or would be hard to achieve, that this achieves very, very well. And I think there's play potential for sure, although it might be a little unwieldy. I think it's, for me, a excellent display model, and really, really detailed and tons of fun. So I'm very, very pleased with it. We'll go over the minifigures first, and I'll start with some of the ones we've had from other sets here. So the first one we can take a look at is one of the new characters, I believe, and that is Sora. This is a really excellent minifigure. Let me just find my focus here. There we go. Excellent minifigure, dual molded hair and headwear piece there. The new kind of scarf piece that also holds the katanas at the back. If I take that off, we can see we have a super detailed and colorful torso here. We got printing on the midsection, printing on the legs that continues kind of the design from the torso. We have mismatched arms, including on the gold arm, printing all the way on the arm there. If we go to the back, we can see Sora's alternate face. We have kind of content Sora, or very angry Sora. And then we have Sora's kind of kitten, grumpy cat logo emblem thing here, continuing the same design. I love the colors of this minifigure. I love the metallic gold details in the printing. I love like the fine details of like this gradient dots up there and down here. I think this is a really excellent minifigure. The face printing has like extra details on it as well, and that's on both sides. Plus we get arm printing. This is a wonderful minifigure. Very happy to get this one, but I got this in another set already. The next one we'll look at is Arin or Arin. I've gotten this one in I think 3 sets now from the new wave. Dual molded headpiece there, the new scarf and back piece. We have this whip element that's like a soft rubber plastic kind of grappling hook there. We get some nice detail for the emblem. These colors are very, very similar to me, the dragon and the background there, but then we get a nice kind of printing on the midsection for the belt or the waist tie, continues down to the legs, printing on the feet, and the back is the same as it is in other sets for this character, which is just a continuation. Get the dragon tail there, some other little details. Arin or Arin has no alternate face in any of the sets that I've seen so far, but some good detail on the main face there. I like the detail around the neckline for the torso. And then we have two more Ninjago characters that I will look at the same time. We have Kai and Lloyd. I believe Kai in red, Lloyd in green here. So these are pretty similar. They each have their own emblem in the kind of metallic gold. There's some different details up around the neckline there. Their ties for their waist, their belts are slightly different, but we still have printing on the midsection for both of them, printing on the legs, same over here, printing on the feet, very good. They both have alternate faces, one with like kind of the eye mask, eye black version, and then the non-version. And I will show both of those by taking off their new scarf elements. So we can see for Kai and Lloyd, we get some extra details up here that get covered up by their scarf, but those are really, really nice, like the printing on these a lot. This is one of the faces, this is the other side, so we can see Kai's face has some extra detail there, and Lloyd also comes with an eye blacked out face. The back of them is the kind of dragon rising logo with the orb there in the metallic, slightly different detailing there to go along with the different colors. The next one we will look at is one that is unique for me in this set. Whoops, I put those on the wrong way. And that's fine. They're just Christmassy now. Okay. And this is Master Wu. This is one that I don't know how many sets he comes with in the new wave, but I hadn't had one. I think he comes in maybe the temple, and I mean probably the new, not docks or market or garden. Well, I don't know what the new big Ninjago set is, but I imagine he comes in there because there's like 21 minifigures in there. But anyway, this is my first of this Master Wu from this line. Get a nice beard piece here in the soft plastic. Really like this hat piece. There's good printing on the face, kind of showing some age lines, some white hair. We can see a little continuation of the facial hair there that pops up kind of behind the accessory beard. And then without the beard here, we can see this awesome gold trim robes here that continue down into the midsection and onto the legs. I really like that gold trim and all the fine detail up on these kind of lapel areas here. Same for the shirt or the robe underneath, the clothing underneath, and then up to the collar. We have good kind of overlapping design there, which is very nice. Printing on the legs, midsection, and torso. Nothing on the arms. And then at the back, we get a really detailed, nice metallic gold sort of writing and great detail up around the collar. Some very fine lines up there. Really, really nice. And he comes with a kind of staff, walking stick type element. That's a great minifigure. Happy to have it. And the last one is Rapton. Rapton has come in several of these sets, so it's the same. I love this torso. It's really, really great. Underneath the pauldron, there's even more gold and finer details up there. Printing on the midsection, printing on the legs, including the feet, which is really, really nice. I love this dual molded new weapon. Rapton has an alternate face, this one, and the other one. The back design, when you take this armor off, is very, very detailed, but you can maybe see it better in some of my other videos from the Dragon Rising wave, because Rapton has come in several sets. I think this is my third or fourth one, and they're all pretty much the same, but this one does come with an extra accessory, which is the chain with the grappling hook, which the other ones in the other sets did not come with. So very nice. I love this minifigure. I just have several of them now, which is nice, and maybe I can share the love and spread these out somewhere, but excellent printing on these. Very, very happy to see that. So that's 6 minifigures, and we do also get a molded dragon character, which is new, and I've gotten one in one of the other sets here. Let me just put these back together. And that's the baby Riyu model. So it's a molded dragon instead of like a built-out dragon, because it is a baby, and I will grab that. The dragons, the brick-built dragon and the Riyu, have kind of spots in the ship as part of play functions. So let me sort of show that right away. If we open up the top of this roof, we can see where the molded Riyu figure is here. And I will pop that out. It can be studded down in there. And I've gotten one of these in one other set, but this is a great mold. I couldn't remember if this is a new mold or a new color. I think this is a new mold, but I'm not sure if it's the same as some ones that are going to be in like Dreams, or what exactly the deal is. I could be wrong. It could be a reused mold, but either way, great to have a molded dragon. Baby dragon can be studded down, and I'll stud that back down into the bounty here while we do that. And then the next thing we'll take a look at is kind of the side build, which is an elemental dragon. And right now I have the dragon kind of in a position where it is in the bounty, so it kind of can all come together. This area of the bounty can flip up, and underneath there is space for this elemental dragon. And whoops, very large set here. So the elemental dragon, it's got this really nice kind of soft sky blue color here with the light bluish gray underbelly and underside. And this was a really nice build. You build this out of the first 2 bags of pieces here, and I really liked how it came together. It uses some of the mech arm pieces that don't bend at the midsection there for the front legs. The hind legs are pretty much brick built there, not using any like super specialized pieces. We attach all the legs with ball joints, so they have a lot of range of motion. They can be spun all around, but also allow for it to be pretty sturdy. The feet are all the same with the gold claws. They have the flat part, so this can be rested flat. All the ankle elements, or where the feet are attached, are ball joints. So this can get into good stable positions in a lot of different ways, and with feet or arms, or legs, hind legs or front legs, elevated or not. The tail is on a ball joint here, and a ball joint at the end. Very nice there. Up at the head, we get this great kind of talon piece or tooth piece in these translucent, which is lovely. This is a somewhat unique piece that I saw used on the Heatwave Lava Transforming Dragon, but in this instance, for this elemental dragon, this is printed, which is nice to get some printed eyes for the dragon here. Brick built head. I like the use of the barbs there. I really like these elements up top. So we get a good brick built dragon head, nice shaping, and glad that this is printed. There's no like mouth movement or anything like that, but this is attached to a ball joint at the neck. Same right there, and then where the neck attaches to the body, it is one of those ratchet hinges there. So no like left to right at the base where the chest meets the neck, but up top we can turn the head as well as move it up and down. We do have these wings here, which are quite nice. They can be rotated, tilted. Those are just attached to a ball joint. And then we have a place where a minifigure can sit, as well as some stud shooter, tile shooter things here. So I really like the use of tan, almost kind of making like a saddle type element where a minifigure can easily be positioned in here. And their arms could even be attached, I believe, to these little gold bar pieces here, or at least approximated there, which is quite nice. And then this whole seat area can spin and rotate all around. The stud shooters can technically tilt, but if you have the minifigure's arms overlapping with them, that won't work super well. But they are on a ratchet kind of joint there, so they can tilt. It's just whether or not you can do that easily. And those are in the kind of gunmetal gray there, kind of a shiny metallic thing. I really like this dragon. This is kind of a nice size for a side build for a set like this. It is, smaller than, for example, the Heatwave lava transforming lava dragon set. And I think it's smaller than some of the dragons that will be in some of the other sets. But when I looked at one of the bigger sets, it's like $130 set with 1,000 pieces. That's like a dragon and a mech for one of Rapton's fellow antagonists, I believe. And in that set, the dragon is much bigger than this, but it feels like the mech is maybe comparable to this as far as like amount of pieces, detail, and what it is for kind of a quote-unquote side build. This actually feels pretty good. I really like the shaping. I like the color. I like that they have a spot and kind of a saddle here that can be spun around. I like the print for the eyes. And there's tons of articulation, and it feels very, very stable and feels very, very good. So really, really nice. It also feels like it matches like Riyu in some ways. And it's really neat that this dragon can be positioned in such a way within the Destiny's Bounty, so it's like part of the ship or can come along for the journey, and that's done by just folding back the arms and legs here, or the hind legs and the front legs, folding up the top wings there, straightening out the tail. You lift this up, there's a bunch of room down there. The tail can even scoot underneath. And let me see here, what am I getting caught on? There we go. And we can slide that in there like so. And this can be brought back down, no problem. And then actually what's kind of neat is whoever's on the stud shooter or on the saddle can still be positioned up there, and the head of the dragon kind of almost looks like the sort of a dragon head that might be on a vessel, a sailing ship or whatever, like on the Viking Creator 3-in-1. They have a dragon head on one end and a tail on the other. So this kind of fits in for that sort of design element while being something that can also be taken out and played with in conjunction with that. So I think that's really, really nice. And then the rest of this build is this giant Destiny's Bounty set. Now, this is kind of hard to show with my current setup because it's kind of tall and it's very long. So we can see they have these big sails up here, which are this great kind of, they're not foil, it's sort of a thin sort of plastic film type piece that feels very sturdy. It feels sturdier than the foil. I don't know how these age or whatever, but really good printing on here. I love kind of the dragon scale design almost all the way through there, and they're attached really, really nicely to this mast. This gold piece up here with the kind of knob is for, flaring these sails out or bringing them back in, which I think is really, really great. It's an easy mechanism and it looks wonderful. But for the sake of this video now, I think I'm going to take off the sails here. Let me just make sure I can do this without too much collateral damage. There we go. And I will leave that there because there's some stuff underneath the sails that I think it's worthwhile taking a look at. But the sail mechanism is really good, very, very simple. The mast is not too robust, but still feels sturdy enough. There is a kind of small little detail here of a kind of hanging lantern or light that is attached to the mast using the kind of paint roller element and this nice little gold tassel there, which is very good. Up at the front, we can see there is a place for sitting with a little garden here of plant life, which I love to see. We get the teapot and some mugs or coffee cups there, some mats for minifigures to sit on, and we have a tile here on a little table, and I believe that game is Go, but I'm not sure. What's the game with just one team is black dots and one team is white on a grid? I think it's Go, but I'm not sure. It's almost like a really advanced form of chess, or like chess times 1,000, because it's... Anyway, I believe that's what the game is supposed to be there. That is a sticker. This is the whole panel that can lift up to allow for the elemental dragon to slide into there. And then the front of this ship is this really, really great design, really, really cool curves here and really nice angles. So if I tilt this to the side, we can see how rounded this is using these big kind of slopes, the long slopes. This Destiny's Bounty here is a sticker, and we use some great elements. The way that the base is actually built, I'm going to pop out a couple pieces here that are prone to falling off while I turn this whole model upside down here. So just forgive me for one moment while I do this. There we go. And see if I can get one more out of here. Excellent. I will leave this off for now. So I'm going to turn this upside down, if I can do so safely. And we can see how the bottom of that is built. There's some really, really nice angles created in there. Oop, the dragon fell out a bit. It feels very sturdy and also like a really good shape design. There is some open space, some bare space, which allows for the dragon to fit in, but there's just some angles created that I think are somewhat unique and difficult to design around and to achieve in Lego form, and I think they were really, really well done here. So there is positions up front for people to be studded down. There are obviously these places to sit. There's some nice railing design here. All of the design elements that go into these front hull walls are really, really great and really satisfying to build with some interesting techniques, and I really enjoyed it, including kind of the gold details up here, same at the front. This whole piece, how this connects to finish off the kind of rounded, almost to a point nature of the front here. We have these great kind of anchor builds, these like brick built sort of anchors that are attached on either side, which are really, really nice. Both sides are essentially symmetrical there. Then we get into the Technic kind of structure of the middle, which holds the mast here, as well as this sort of hinge area for this to move. There's a lot of great use of like brackets to connect pieces that might not have like a normal connection, including some on the inside here. And if we look, it's really unique in my opinion how we have this big kind of front that flares out here, and then we cut back in and have this really narrow area, and then it flares out again to the back. I really liked that as a design. It makes like this kind of an interesting place to hold the ship. And it also just looks really, really unique. So I loved the design of this inside here, and it's built in a really kind of nice way. If we look at the side, there's some translucent underneath here as well as right here that match each other. We use a bunch of these minifigure phones as kind of details, which I really like. Great red elements. Awesome transition from this kind of cutback and then into this curve out. I really, really like how that all came together. The other side is very much the same, where it has the same kind of translucent here, and underneath the phones that is on the engines, which is a really nice detail. Then we go back to the mast here. So we have the steering wheel there. We can see we have a printed tile for the compass. We also have this brick-built telescope here, which is very nice. Those can be articulated a little bit there, which I quite like. And down now to the back here. The back of the ship, like I say, really great curves here, really great lines. I love how the base is sort of a little like discreet and hidden. These gray parts that are underneath the red when it is resting flat on a surface kind of are invisible. They kind of fade away. So the profile of the red ship kind of primary thing looks really, really excellent in my opinion. So I love how that finishes off there. And both of these sides are really, really excellent. And in either side, we have these wonderful built kind of triangular almost engines, which have these translucent and gold kind of thrusters there. It's the same on the back side. These can be rotated, so I can show you that, which is great. So we rotate those all around. Very fun builds there with some interesting techniques, interesting pieces. And then these are attached here with the kind of gold sort of, I don't know what these are called, rice paddy hats, but I don't know if that's bad or not. This kind of hat there, element, and then the blue, which is very, very nice. So these can be rotated to change the sort of angle of flight, which I think is great. The other side is the same, and I really like how the back end of this ship looks with these. It just looks like super awesome. It kind of blends in the kind of sailboat elements with more of like a spacefaring kind of thing, which reminds me very much of like Treasure Planet from Disney. And I really, really love that movie, and I love the design. So like space pirates, very, very cool. At the back, we have another one of these kind of lantern elements here using the paint roller. We get these flag elements that I really, really like with the gold dragon head detail there. Those are a sticker, and same on the other side is a sticker here. And then at the back, we can also see some more thrusters there, which are come on kind of easy, which complement these ones on the bigger rotating engines very, very well. Then we have this kind of cabin area. First, we have the kind of the roof here, which comes off. There's some modularity to this. It comes on very, very easily. So this is the roof section. I will pop that off. This is where the Riyu figure lives. And now I will return some of the details that I took out when I was moving the ship all around in kind of more elaborate ways, because there are some loose elements in here. So for Ryu's little area in the kind of roof section here, there's like a nice entryway at the front there, same at the back. The roof design is really, really cool. all in black there, and it's great to have access. So Riyu can be studied down. He has a little table. There's like a little ball and a bone here. Then some food. We get a carrot, a pretzel, a sort of drumstick, and a green apple in there, which is wonderful. And this can be closed up very easily. It feels almost like a birdhouse here at the front, which I think is very, very funny for a dragon. And this is put together really, really nicely, and it can come on and off very easily. So when it's sat on here, I don't feel like it's too much of a concern that it's going to fall off or fly off or anything. It is not studded down really, but it has pieces on the bottom that fit nicely inside here, and these cheese slopes here help it get into position. Same with these at the back. And then it uses a couple of these ratchet hinge elements there that clip over these clip pieces. So it's not like a full connection, but it's sort of one of those Legos kind of less intensive connections that really helps it hold it in place. So there's great internal details in there and play and nice fun pieces, and this is a really cool design that adds a lot of the height and the weight to the deck of the ship, but I love how this is modular, so I will set that aside now. Underneath that, we can see we kind of have another sort of cabin area, maybe a captain's quarters. We have a sticker on the back here, which is a maybe a decree. It's got a little like seal and a picture of the bounty, it looks like, which is nice. On the table, there's a maybe a map looking element or just some sort of picture element. That is a sticker. We have this gold minifigure accessory of a sectant or a telescope or a kind of compass there, some seafaring navigation tool. I really like the use of swords on the side. I like these kind of porthole almost looking pieces. Same for the hole around the back. I think those are really, really cool. We get some more kind of lanterns up there. And there's places for minifigures to go in here. There's places at the back for them to be positioned as well. So I really like how someone could be positioned here at the helm. People could be up here. People could be in the saddle and various places towards the rear of the vessel. And then there's even more details. If we take off this sort of cabin area, which kind of fits in pretty flawlessly to the curves and the design of these black lines coming from the back here and the red of the hull coming here. So it fits in very, very nicely. I think it's almost seamless how like these overlap those graded or vented slopes there, and I think it just finishes it off really, really nice and almost looks seamless. But when that pops off, we can see it studs down a couple places here. We get even more internal details, and this is like a really nice kind of bedroom living quarters area in my opinion. So something that I thought was really cool, there's kind of what looks to me like a TV screen there. That is a sticker, and it's like a video game, like a Tekken style or a side-by-side fighting game like a Super Smash Bros or Tekken or Mortal Kombat or something like that, but with Ninjago characters, I presume. There's some spots for minifigures to sit. This looks like it's got a whole like console and speakers for this TV there. And then there's these pieces, which I don't think I've ever seen these before, but I'm assuming they've come in other sets. Maybe not, but this is like a minifigure video game controller that is dual molded. So we get kind of white handheld, we get a D-pad, we get some triggers, we get some buttons there. So this is like a pretty excellent minifigure accessory that almost looks like it's molded around a sort of hilt design based on the top there and the bottom, but is a minifigure controller, and you get two of those that can get clipped down in here, which is so cool. I loved to see that. Really, really great. At the back, we get another kind of either armory, storage, or also like maybe decorative, decorative kind of accessories and weapons with some sai and some throwing weapons and a sword there, all kind of clipped onto the wall. Over on the other side, now this feels more like a painting or a picture to me. This is a sticker as well. Let me rotate the whole ship here. And the reason I think it might be a painting or something is I don't know what the white bar element is supposed to be, if that's supposed to be like a pencil or a brush, or what this is supposed to be either. It just feels like there's a small little shelf there and something clipped to it. So that is a nice kind of detail. Looks like baby Riyu is on there and has some other kind of Easter eggs there as well. Then on the other side, if I can position this around, we get a minifigure, the older style headpiece with the mask kind of connected to the headwear and the dual molded kind of headband there. It's almost like a little shrine here. We get a couple of those compass prints here for details adorning the wall. We get some of these overhang talon pieces. We have a sword here. So this almost feels like a shrine or a memorial there. We get a couple brick built beds. We get what looks like, another cup and what look like some printed sushi tiles in there, which is nice. So we get a really cool little living quarters that also is like very instrumental in the structure of the ship here. Great details for play, hidden details for display that people might not expect, because this feels very much like a solid continuous or contiguous seamless sort of build that they may, it would be easy to feel like this might all be hollow, especially considering like the front is relatively hollow because the spot for the dragon, but in fact the back is packed with details which just add a ton of stuff for play and display that goes back on there very, very easily. And I just love the shape of this. I think there's great play potential. It's really, really awesome to display. It's very unique, and I loved building it. I will reattach the sails here so we can see that in action again. Make sure I can do this easily. Whoops. So when I took this off, I didn't take care to do it in the appropriate order. And I dropped a piece and I don't know where it went. Forgive me here. It may be that anybody watching already sees where this piece is and I am blind, but for whatever reason, I cannot find it. Huh. Strange. Aha. It was off of my desk. Forgive me for that. So, why don't I pop this out here? There we go. And I will position these back on here. It really is easier than I'm making this look. There we go. And we will reattach this. Terrific. I will pop that on and pop the knob on here. And now we can see this is back to fully functioning, can flare out, can rest like that. Really, really excellent sails. And the build was pretty good. So I love this ship. I love this Destiny's Bounty. I think it's really, really well done. And I'm very glad that I was able to get this set. Now, this set is one of the sets that officially comes out on June the 1st of 2023, which this video will conveniently come out. I was able to get this set early, so I was able to build it, already by now. And I'm very, very glad I was able to get some of these Ninjago Dragon Rising sets early because they're really, really great. And I had a blast building them and talking about them. So this set is $160 for 1,739 pieces. 6 minifigures, great ones, a dragon build, and a marvelous ship build that can also combine. Great play potential, great display potential. I think there's absolutely value here. I think good value here. This is actually maybe one of the better value sets. Now, I thought the Sora's Mech Transforming Bikes Racer set was pretty good value, but I wanted it a bit cheaper. Heatwave Transforming Dragon, I thought, solid value. I wanted it a bit cheaper. The Team Up Mech Arin and Kai's, I believe, or Lloyd's. I think Lloyd and Arin's like team up mech build I actually thought was pretty good value. And now this Destiny's Bounty Race Against Time I think is really good value. Now that's weird to say because it's an expensive set. It's not cheap. It's $160. But I feel like this is it feels pretty much like this is $160 worth of Lego. I think some previous Destiny Bounties were slightly cheaper. I don't know how they compare in terms of size. I'd have to double check to know what those retailed at. But for me, for this set, it feels really fair. If it was cheaper, it would be better. But it feels very fair to me. So I don't have tons of complaints for it. I will show the extra pieces quickly here. And we get a lot of gold. We get some minifigure accessories. We get extra printed pieces like the sushi roll or the food there, and an extra of the compass print. We get an extra of the bone here, and a hilt, and gold, and minifigure triggers, and 1x1s, and all sorts of stuff. So good assortment of extra pieces, a decent amount of them, but it's always nice to get like an extra of this print and an extra of the compass print there, as well as some of the extra minifigure accessories and floral elements, and all of the gold in general is very nice. So that's wonderful. Quite a few pieces there. We do get some translucent light blue, I believe, for the stud shooters on the elemental dragon or tile shooters. So we get 4 of those plus 1 extra that is in the extra pieces. We get 6 minifigures that are all quite good in my opinion, with accessories and good printing and lots of stuff here, even if these were also in other sets. I'm very happy with this. So this is awesome. This is a really good set, and I can't wait to build even more of the new Lego Ninjago lines, and maybe I'll have to look into getting past Destiny Bounty sets because I enjoyed this so much. So I really liked this. If you liked this video, consider giving it a like, and if you like the other videos on my channel, consider subscribing to it so you can stay up to date on all the LEGO videos I will be doing here in the future, including more LEGO Ninjago Dragon Rising, and then a bunch of other LEGO Ninjago from Legacy and Crystallize and other seasons past, and besides Ninjago, just a ton of other LEGO themes of various sizes and price points. I'm going to get some of the new Friends stuff. I'm going to get some of the maybe new Harry Potter stuff, the new kind of Lego Shop exclusives, and creator stuff, and just Star Wars, Marvel, tons of stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of that. And if you feel like supporting this channel in a different way, consider joining me over at the Sobrix Patreon, where I've been doing some exclusive content. It also helps me financially to support this channel and keep this channel going and growing and improving and getting better. So I really appreciate everybody that's given so far and anybody that's watching, and every little bit counts, but I can't express enough how grateful I am so far, and I really hope this turns into a long-term thing. So any support over at Patreon really helps realize that goal. So thank you very much, and until next time, thanks. Bye.